All right, so our last point before we get into games is digital distribution. So one of the reasons that I think that Microsoft isn't being super clear on how they're going to handle this worldwide release thing is because worldwide markets really haven't embraced digital content as much as the US has. The US is the #1 consumer of this digital stuff, and by like leaps and bounds. Hulu and Netflix and that stuff's great, but if you look at like Amazon Instant Video and iTunes, Microsoft wants to make sure that when you go to buy something digitally, that the Microsoft store is
they're
your
at the
first
forefront.
choice.
Yeah,
exactly. Because honestly, one day all this physical media, it's just not going to exist anymore.
I mean, that was the big question when this generation was being revealed, right? Like, will we still use the disc version? I'm gonna go ahead and say it's kind of obvious that this is the last generation that will use a disc. This is the last one. The next generation will be completely disc-free. There will be no insert slot. It'll be just all digital, and
Online?
it seems obvious. Yeah, online. That's where it's gonna come from. And it's probably gonna be always on. Like that seems the direction they're headed. They want to control the content. They want to control the the piracy of it, and they want to also control how you're engaging with it. And they want that data. They want those statistics. So that's where we're headed, and it's inevitable. It's just a way of doing it tastefully and respecting the consumer. That's that fine line between how much data do we want and how much do we want to respect the consumer.
It's also not the worst thing in the world, because if you look at something like Ouya, yeah, people are like laughing at Ouya and stuff. But when you have three companies monopolizing the video game market, like 3 companies is not a lot. If you look at like the 80s, like how many companies were making video game machines, there was a lot.
Bring back the Genesis.
Yeah, exactly. It opens up space for companies like Ouya who are going to give you. Ouya is an open platform. You can you can hack that and put emulators and whatever you want on there. And like with an Android-based system, it's not unlikely that 5 years down the line, when all these companies have these extremely closed platforms and everything is digital, that there could be a company that could be producing hardware of a comparable level that can give you those same quality games just on an open platform, because that's their selling point.
Well, that's the whole talk about the Steam box. When I know it's heavily rumored and there's a lot of clarification needed on it. I've heard rumors that they might be at E3 as well talking about it, but that would, if they did the Steam box and they made it kind of like open source, because one of the greatest things about Steam, amazing thing about it, is it encourages mods. It gives you things like Gary's mod, and it lets you play with the game and create a longer life for a game. Like, people still are playing Counter-Strike, one of the oldest first-person shooters, because there's so many mods for it, right? So I agree with what you're saying. Like, they need to open it up more to people.
I mean, more than anything, for me, like one of the reason I love Steam so much is, yeah, it's got DRM, but like the value just kind of completely like tramples any kind of issue that I have with DRM. Like when I can go and get a game for $20 that's like a couple years old, I really don't feel bad about that. Yeah. When Microsoft on Xbox, like wants me to pay $30 for a classic Xbox game or something, like I have more of a problem with that, because it's just about value. Like, am I getting like the requisite value that I expect? And with Steam, you're always getting that. That's always been like their #1 thing.
There was that Russian guy as well. He hacked, what game? It was an Xbox game, and he put it on PC.
Dishwasher Dead Samurai.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so there's some Russian hacker who cracked Dishwasher Dead Samurai. It's an Xbox Live arcade game, and he tried to justify it too by saying that the developers didn't release the game on PC, so anyone who plays it on PC isn't taking any profits away from them, because it was never on that platform in the first place. And it's an interesting argument.
It's an interesting argument.
And maybe we'll get into that at the end of this, but I think everyone wants to talk about the games now, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say what we're most excited for Xbox One games. Personally,
Xbox One or overall?
Xbox One. Just keeping with our Microsoft presentation talk. For me, it's Fable 4. The Fable series has been a massive letdown in the last couple of years, but Fable 1 is like one of my favorite Xbox original games, and I think that it's a nice opportunity for them to bring it back to that kind of feeling.
Let me ask you 2 questions. MMO, yes or no? What do you want? And how do you feel now that Peter Molyneux's not there?
Now that Peter Molyneux's not there, hot and cold. He is like, Peter Molyneux's greatest attribute is that he can like inspire people to make games that are like weird and off kilter. Yeah. He also promises a lot of stuff that never happens. So I think so now the inspiration's there. I mean, the idea of what Fable is and should be, that's already like created, and he's already thrown out so many ideas in the past. Like even for the first game, if they deliver on the promises of the first game, I'll be satisfied. And I don't care whether it's an MMO. I still think that they'll keep it as a game that you can play by yourself and have like a nice story experience. But yeah, with other players, like I don't really mind like if it's got like an MMO functionality, because it's not going to be like a true MMO with like boring ass quests and like useless crap in it. Donald?
Well, looking at the games that they've definitely announced are going to, not rumors, not likely, but it's definitely going to be there. I don't really see any games that are really, really exciting for me. There's really, really good games announced, but nothing that is, oh yeah, brilliant, I want to go play that. Maybe Rise, but again, that's kind of more personal thing. But again, considering how bad the Star Wars game for Kinect was, a little worried about that. But I mean, there's some really, really good games announced, but nothing that's really got me fired up so far anyway.
Fair enough, and I'm sure a lot of people share that sentiment.
Yeah.
Hammad.
Man, it's a really tough question. There's a couple of them that I'm really excited for, but it's strictly for Xbox One. I would say, look, can it be a cross-platform? Can I mention a cross-platform game?
Sure. Yeah.
Then it's Destiny. It has to be Destiny. I know there's a huge PS4
me too.
aspect to it, but God, I'm so excited for that.
But
game.
Nothing that's going to sell you on Xbox One.
It's not particularly.
Like,
I mean, I did a lot of research.
So excited for Destiny. I'm like, that's like my most anticipated game is Destiny, but I'm playing it on PS4 because I don't want to deal with Xbox One crap.
I mean, there's like what, Destiny, GTA 5, The Last of Us, all of that. Like I'm all playing that on PS4. But I guess like I did for the research that I did for the article. I saw a bunch of stuff that
if
I'm
GTA
kind of excited.
4 is on PS4. If GTA 4 or GTA
GTA
5 is even on PS4.
Yeah. It'll probably be on PS3, to be honest. They won't move it to thing. But I guess the one most exciting thing for Xbox One that kind of like I'm scared to be excited about because not enough information's been released is whatever Black Tusk is working on. They're Canadian based, they're from Vancouver, they've been quietly working on something. They call it the next Halo. I did a lot of research on who's working there, and they've got a lot of people from sports franchise, which I'm kind of like, but they also hired a lot of people for multiplayer and co-op, and the job listings on there point towards something co-op based. And I don't know, if they're saying the next Halo and they're saying it's co-op based, co-op is rarely done justice. It is rarely done
Wouldn't
justice.
it be funny if it was entirely gesture based?
Oh
Wouldn't that make you happy? If it...
Well, my favorite would be, I don't even know if they're Xbox or PS, honestly, Watch Dog. Definitely Ubisoft, that's a big one. The previews were awesome. And definitely, I'm a big Ubisoft fan, Black Flag.
My favorite part of Watch Dogs was watching the demo on YouTube. And there's a bit where you can steal money from someone's ATM machine. And the top comment was, can you take the money from the ATM machine and give it to a homeless guy you pass by on the street?
Oh, neat.
Like they're giving you a lot of kind of open world stuff.
But I just like that
social drama.
I just like that for YouTube,
but again,
which typically would
both
have
of those games not selling you on Xbox One.
Yeah,
I mean, you could you could very
platform.
well pick those up on PS4.
Yeah, you don't have to pick that up on Xbox.
Yeah.
Right.
GT5, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
So what do we think is going to be Microsoft's ace in the hole? Do we think they have one?
Halo 5.
I don't think it's going to be
Halo
Halo 5 though, because of Destiny.
Yeah, you're right. Destiny will exist, but you can't deny Halo. You cannot deny the power that the Halo universe has.
I just don't think that they would stack Halo up against Destiny, especially when Halo 5 or Halo 4, like it wasn't that long ago. Like, because when you stack those two games up, like especially like as a multiplayer, like Destiny is designed from the ground up and it's been in development for so long. That's going to be like the MMO shooter. I don't think that they're going to launch.
We also don't know anything about or enough about Quantum Break, which it looks like there's an interesting concept going there. Like I don't know if to me it seems like it's a third-person shooter with some sort of time manipulation that ties into a TV show, and it might even be like episodical. Like you watch one episode of the TV show and you watch one episode or you play one episode of the game, and you kind of like subscribe to like both. And there might be like a pay model, which people probably won't like. If they do that, people will be really angry. I can call it now, but that might be their ace in the hole. And plus 15 exclusive. We've only scratched the surface of what that might mean, right? Yeah. So there might be some sort of like, oh my God, we didn't see this coming.
That's true.
Rare's working on at least a couple things.
Yeah, but Microsoft devoted Rare to be like a Kinect studio, so like, who knows what
could.
Which is like the worst choice in the history of game development. But
it's going to be Banjo-Kazooie. or it's going to be.
If it's a proper Banjo-Kazooie
Yeah.
game, people are
Yeah.
going to go apeshit. I mean,
No, but think about it. They're using their marketing strategy or their targeting strategy is very mass, right? They're going for the entire family. So think about the family. They've got different tastes, and you've got to appeal to someone who likes platformers. You can't just have shooters and hardcore MMOs. No, you got to have everything. And I love platformers.
I love
and
platformers too.
Banjo-Kazooie is going to address that. It's going to address that kind of need. That's why they're not going to make a Perfect Dark. I guarantee it. There's too many shooters. It's a saturated market. They're not going to make a Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark is kind of, it's like, it's sad, but I don't know if anyone's really interested in the
Yeah,
game
it's not.
anymore.
Especially after coming out with the HD one, they won't come out with one.
Perfect Dark
Yeah,
Zero?
that's not. It's not going to happen again.
Yeah. So Ace in the Hole, we don't. They've said that there's so many exclusives coming.
Yeah.
We can't really make a super educated guess. Honestly, I think it might be Gears, which would be like the saddest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But it might be. People love that series.
Yeah, they do.
I
I'm
mean,
not a big fan. I like the co-op, but
the last game I played was Gears 1. And I loved it. I played Gears 1. I played the shit out of it. But the rest of the series,
yeah.
I don't know, like I had moved on at that point to other things.